Everything from DUI Jedis to fanatical firearm instructors. What are some of these specialized courses and certifications for cops? Hey guys, what's going on? I hope you had a fantastic weekend. I am super stoked about this video. This idea actually came from one of my other videos. Somebody left a comment and I will read that. From Ryan Newell. He said the video was amazing. I would love to see more things like this. Maybe a video about different law enforcement certifications. So I decided that was a great idea to do a video on. I don't know how I have not thought about this yet, but I think that is a fantastic idea, Ryan. Thank you so much for the input. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So let's jump into it. After you graduate from the police academy, you are going to spend the entire rest of your career taking classes. Some of these classes are going to be voluntary. They're going to be ones that you really like, that you want to go to, that you sign up for. But there's also going to be classes that you are mandatory, that you have to take them every single year. One of those might be use of force. Another one might be sexual harassment in the workplace, things like that. So today I'm actually going to explain to you guys how our training and certifications and how it all ties in together. Okay, and I'm even going to show you guys toward the end of the video, I am going to show you actual screenshots of my personal training record. That's right, you get to take a look at my Georgia Post profile. I think I am the first officer on social media to actually show their training records, but don't hold me to that. Okay, so you graduate from the police academy, you pass your FTO phase with your trainer, now you are solo, you are on your own, and you want to start taking some classes. This is all relative to where you live, guys, and as I usually give the spiel, I only know about Georgia and how we do things, so I'm going to use Georgia as an example. But just from what I have learned in being in this for 12 years, it is pretty much the same everywhere else. Every state's going to be different in some way or fashion, but for the most part, the overall system and how things work are pretty much the same across the board. So unless they give it to you in the academy, you are not automatically going to be certified to run, let's say, radar and lidar, which is the laser. And each one of these is a separate class you have to take. And somebody told me recently that they actually combine these two classes in Georgia. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't want to vouch for that. But when I went through, radar was 16 hours. It was a 2-day course. Lidar is an 8-hour course. It's 1 day. They teach the same things. It's like the Doppler principle, things like that. So once you attend this class, you have to take a written test at the end of it. If you pass the written test in Georgia, you are required to do 16 hours of training with the radar and the lidar separate. But you can't do that 16 hours of training. I guess they had an issue with officers that were doing this training in just a few days. And they were sending their packets to Georgia Post, and Georgia Post was like, you did 16 hours in 12 hours? So Georgia Post came out with a requirement that made officers wait at least 21 days. You had to spread this training out over 21 days. And again, that's both for radar and for lidar. So they give you this log form and you have to write every day that you do your training, every time that you do your training. And then at the end of that time period, once that 21 days hits, you then get with another radar operator or a lidar operator that's already certified, and they basically give you an evaluation. So you have to successfully tell them, you have to explain everything, like your tracking history, visual estimation of how fast people are going, so on and so forth. So then they sign off on their portion of the paperwork, and you send the entire packet along with, I think it's like a $35 fee, to Georgia Post, and then you get your certification. Only then are you allowed to issue citations for either radar or lidar for speeding. Until that point, you cannot be stopping people because you are not certified. You might sit on the side of the road and use your equipment to check people's speed, but you are not supposed to be issuing citations. That's a huge liability, even stopping people. There was back and forth one day about officers saying, well, I can stop them, I just can't cite them. If you stop somebody and they run from you and you're not certified to run lidar or radar, that to me is a liability I want no part of. So anyway, I never stopped people if I wasn't certified. But once you get certified, you get an official like serial number attached to your profile, and it shows your certification. You log into your profile online, you can click on speed detection, click on lidar, and boom, there is your certification right for the world to see. Also something you'll probably want to bring to court when you start writing these citations. So moving on, okay, I'm just talking about speed detection stuff. Let's move on to some of the other classes that are also available post-academy, post-FTO. Advanced training classes can either be taken at your department, or you can take them at another department as long as they are taught by a certified post instructor, which there might be officers in your department that are post-certified and they are able to teach some of these classes. But there are certain classes that you have to travel to a place called Forsyth, Georgia. Forsyth, Georgia is where the Georgia Public Safety Training Center is. We use the acronym GPSTC. GPSTC is also where the Georgia State Patrol trains. There's a fire academy there. The Georgia Bureau of Investigations, or GBI, train there. It's a huge base where all these agencies train at the same time. And it's also where local law enforcement sends their people to these classes that can be anywhere from a single day to several weeks or months. So basically, if you are interested in going to one of these classes, you make sure to follow your own department's policy, but you submit a training request up the chain, through your sergeant. You print one out, fill out what class you want, when it's going to be. Of course, you have to check the website first. You fill it out, you turn it into your sergeant, and if they approve it, then you go ahead and register online, or you'll have somebody in your training division that will register you for that class. Once that is done, you are on your way. Let's say this is a week-long class. We usually leave around Sunday afternoon, and we'll get to Forsyth, Georgia. We'll arrive at the Public Safety Training Center. And most people get there on Sunday afternoon and they go up to the front desk and they go ahead and get a dorm room. They'll issue you a key card for one of the dorm rooms on base. If you want to pay $20, you can have a TV with like HBO or something, maybe Wi-Fi. I don't know. I never stay on base. I always stay in a hotel off base, and then I just drive to class in the mornings. I like to be by myself. I like to be more independent. I don't want troopers running past my door at 4 in the morning screaming and chanting their cadences. Some departments will allow you to take your marked patrol car to the training center, depending on where you live in Georgia, and they'll either reimburse you for whatever you spend on gas and maybe a food allotment or something, or they will give you some sort of a credit card to use for gas when you are out of town. Other departments require people to ride in a group together, and then some like small departments might make you drive your own car. So what are some of the course names that you might be taking in your state's equivalent of GPSTC? Here is just a couple of the screenshots I'll show you guys here on the screen of some of the classes that are offered, and kind of gives you guys an idea of what kind of classes officers are signing up for. These are all the classes that are available that I can sign up for, and of course this is just a very condensed version. I only took 2 screenshots here, but there are pages and pages and pages of different classes that you can take. This is not all that's available. I'm just showing you guys an example. Classes I personally would recommend would be criminal investigation fundamentals, criminal procedure, and search and seizure, search warrants and affidavits. Those are not very exciting classes, especially for new officers that are gung-ho and just want to get out on the street. But I guarantee you it will save your ass if you know your limitations and you understand how liability works. But if you are one of the officers that is interested in actually being educated and knowledgeable and knowing what you can and can't do and being confident when you walk in that courtroom and you address the judge, I would highly recommend classes like that. So let's say you want to become a sergeant. There are also classes for that. There are classes called supervisory classes, and then a step up from that would be management. And each one of those, in order to get the certification, you have to attend 3 classes. You have supervisory or supervisor 1, 2, and 3, and then you have management 1, 2, and 3. Some departments require that to become a sergeant, others don't. It just depends on the department. I know somebody's gonna ask me that, so I figure I'd go ahead and address that now. If you look closely here on the screen, you will see a little thing that says intermediate and advanced certification. A lot of times departments, when they are looking to promote people or they're looking to put them in another division that maybe they've applied for, a lot of Georgia officers try to get their intermediate and their advanced certifications. Each one of those has a prerequisite number of classes that you have to take before you're able to apply to get your intermediate or advanced certification through the Georgia Post website. Some departments require you to have like an intermediate and your supervisory classes before they'll even consider you for a position as a sergeant. But again, it just depends on the department. Check the policy, always read department policy. So some people might ask, well, what's really the point of these classes? Do I have to take them? No, you don't have to take them. As long as you maintain your 20 hours a year of training, you keep your certification in Georgia. The difference is there are officers that want more. There's officers that want to climb the chain. They want to do more with their careers and have more available. You want to have more options available to you, and it looks great when you can walk in and you have this list that's pages long of all the different training and experience that you have, and it also helps you in court too. But aside from court, aside from promotions, it's just good practice to have good training. Nobody will ever complain that an officer is taking search and seizure classes. That isn't extremely important. Our job is based off of, we deal with search and seizure every single day, so it's very important these classes be taken. Even if it's dry, even if it's not something you want to do. I love going to training. To me, it's just, of course it depends on the kind of training too. I will never complain about going into a classroom and getting paid to sit there and watch a PowerPoint presentation and take a little test and drink coffee for an entire week. To me, that's a vacation. I enjoy it. Last but not least, here is the final thing. I am going to post right here. Here are a couple of screenshots of my personal training record. This is not everything, of course. Some of this is like super old from back when I was on SWAT. Some of this is more current. And I'm not going to show you guys my entire profile, but here's a couple of clip outs. If you want to pause the screen, whatever you want to do, you can check them out. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I was super excited about doing this video. I am planning on doing a live stream tonight, and I will answer questions pertaining to certification. Of course, I try to answer any questions I can during the live streams, but I really want tonight's live stream to be focused on certifications, things like that. So if you guys have questions, let them out tonight. If I didn't answer them in this video, I'll try to address them tonight. This has been a long time since I've done a live stream about a video I just put out, so I'm really excited about this. I'm gonna plan for about 7 o'clock. Let's plan for 7 to do this live stream, and we'll make it happen. If you want more tips, tricks, and private live streams, join us today at patreon.com/officer401. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your Sunday, and I will see you very, very soon.